The cameras were rolling, Chase Center was buzzing, and the entire NBA world was leaning forward, waiting, watching, and hoping. And now the moment every Golden State Warriors fan was afraid of has arrived. Steph Curry's MRI results have leaked, and what insiders are saying behind closed doors is not only shocking, it completely changes the entire direction of Golden State's season. The Warriors' future, the front office's plans, and even the fate of this dynasty could shift dramatically based on what the medical team discovered earlier today. If you're a Warriors fan, get ready, because this update is going to hit hard. And if you're an NBA fan in general, buckle up, because the impact of this news goes way beyond one team. It affects rival franchises, playoff picture, trade decisions, and even the legacy conversations involving the greatest shooter of all time. So let's start from what happened behind the scenes. After Steph Curry limped off the floor holding his leg, you could feel the tension instantly. Steve Kerr's face went pale. Draymond Green's energy collapsed. Klay Thompson looked like he'd seen a ghost. Everyone knew it wasn't normal. And when Steph immediately requested evaluation from the medical team instead of trying to walk it off, trainers knew it was serious. He went straight into the tunnel, surrounded by staff, with one hand gripping his thigh tightly. That's when Warriors insiders started texting reporters, saying that the injury looked not good. And now, the MRI results have finally leaked, and the news is far from simple. According to multiple sources close to the situation, the MRI didn't just show a standard strain. It revealed deeper issues that the Warriors were already monitoring in the background. In fact, insiders say the coaching staff had noticed subtle changes in his movement over the last few games: slight hesitations, reduced explosiveness, and more time spent massaging his leg during timeouts. Steph, being the competitor he is, played through it. But the MRI showed inflammation in an area doctors have repeatedly warned him about over the past 2 seasons. The Warriors organization had been proactively trying to protect him from this exact scenario, adjusting his minutes, modifying his back-to-back schedule, and giving him more treatment days. But this time the issue became unavoidable. People close to the team described the MRI results as concerning but not catastrophic. What does that mean? It means the injury is real, it's not nothing, and it's going to require time, monitoring, and a possible shift in how the Warriors use Curry for the rest of the year. And here's the real shocker: this isn't just a short-term injury update. This could directly influence Golden State's trade deadline strategy, their off-season decisions, and even how much longer they can realistically compete for a championship with the current core. And yes, it may also affect Steph's MVP-level production going forward. Let's break down what leaked about the MRI. Sources say it revealed a moderate strain with surrounding inflammation and injury that usually sidelines players anywhere from 2 weeks to a month, depending on recovery speed. But Curry is not a normal player. He has world-class conditioning, elite medical support, and one of the strongest work ethics in sports. However, this is the first time in a long time the medical team has strongly advised the coaching staff to consider protective management of Curry for the rest of the season. That means fewer high-load minutes. That means less physical stress in games. And most importantly, that means the Warriors cannot delay making critical roster changes anymore. The front office has been debating for months whether to make another aggressive move, possibly involving young players like Jonathan Kuminga or Moses Moody, in order to surround Curry with the support he needs. But now, the leaked MRI results have changed everything. The message is clear: if Golden State delays again, they risk failing to maximize the final prime years of the greatest shooter of all time. And guess who is already frustrated? Sources say Draymond Green is pushing for roster changes immediately. Klay Thompson, who has been fighting his own criticism this year, reportedly believes the team needs one more reliable scorer. Even GM Mike Dunleavy has been pushed into a corner. Do they go all in now? Or do they risk losing the season if Curry's absence exposes their weaknesses? And what about Curry himself? Well, insiders say his reaction to the MRI was exactly what you'd expect from him: calm, focused, and competitive. He wasn't angry. He wasn't panicking. But he did say something that shook the room. One insider claims he looked at the trainers and said, "I'll be back, but we need help." That sentence alone may ignite one of the biggest trade pushes Golden State has made since Durant joined the Warriors in 2016. The stakes are that high. Curry knows he can still lead this team to greatness. But he also knows the margin for error has disappeared. Let's talk about the schedule. The Warriors have some brutal matchups coming up, including games against top Western Conference teams that rely heavily on physicality and pace. Without Curry at full strength, or without him at all, the Warriors could easily slip in the standings. And that is dangerous because this season is already tight. Every game matters. Every loss hurts more than ever. And without their leader, the Warriors risk falling behind teams they're supposed to compete with in the playoff picture. That's why the coaching staff is already considering changes in the rotation. Expect Jonathan Kuminga to take on a much bigger offensive role. Expect Chris Paul to become the floor general again. Expect Klay Thompson to be leaned on more for scoring. And yes, expect the Warriors to experiment with two-way players they haven't used much yet. But let's get real, Steph Curry isn't just a star, he's the heart, the identity, the gravity of the entire Warriors system. When he's on the floor, defenses panic. They shift, they scramble, they lose structure. Without him, Golden State becomes a predictable team. And the coaching staff knows this. That's why the leaked MRI results are causing such a scramble behind the scenes. It's not just about healing his leg. It's about rebuilding the entire strategy for the next 30 to 40 games. The Warriors also have to consider Curry's long-term health. They know they cannot risk another severe injury. Steph is 37, and despite still playing at an elite level, the risk factor increases every season. And that's why the medical team is stressing something new, load management tailored specifically for Curry's biomechanics. That means monitoring fatigue, travel stress, muscle recovery, and even adjusting his diet and pre-game routine. The goal is clear: avoid brain injury at all costs. But here's the twist: Curry hates sitting out. He hates resting. He hates not being on the floor. And that internal battle between competitiveness and long-term safety is happening right now. Fans are reacting with panic. Social media exploded immediately after the first leaks came out. Warriors Twitter is divided: half the fanbase is in worry mode, while the other half believes Curry will return stronger than ever. NBA analysts are already debating what this means for Golden State's playoff chances. Some say this could finally be the season the Warriors officially transition into a rebuilding phase. Others believe the front office will go all in, possibly trading for another star. But there's another layer: Steph Curry's legacy. Every time he gets injured, the conversation returns. Is the dynasty over? Is this the end of an era? Has the window finally closed? But what people forget is that Curry has come back from injuries before worse injuries, and he always returns stronger, more focused, more deadly. He's redefined what longevity looks like. But now, with this MRI revealing a concerning issue, the conversation shifts again. Not can Curry come back? Inside Chase Center, players are shaken. One source claims Kuminga was visibly emotional during practice after hearing the update. Klay reportedly sat quietly for several minutes before returning to shooting drills. Draymond paced around, talking to coaches. Everyone felt the weight of the update. Steph Curry is not just their leader, he's the reason this core has multiple rings. He's the reason their offensive system exists. Without him, the Warriors feel incomplete. What happens next? First, Curry will begin an immediate treatment plan. It includes anti-inflammatory therapy, muscle activation, mobility recovery, and gradual re-strengthening. The medical team will not rush him. They've made that clear. Second, the Warriors front office is privately accelerating trade talks. Names have already been mentioned behind the scenes: veteran scorers, defensive specialists, stretch bigs. One insider described the moment Curry received the MRI summary.